Proof is in the pudding, and the pudding in this case is a football. Boom! Eat my goal! The goalie has got football pie all over his shirt.
Welcome to this latest episode of the Down the Pub podcast. We are reviewing the Edmonton game from last Saturday, I think it is, and we're also just going to have a quick chat about the u23s game, and also just a little couple of words about Mateo and his time at the club. Obviously, with me here again is the main man, Gary Griffiths. How's it going, buddy?
Very good, very good. Thank you for having me again.
So, what did you think of the campaign I've started, the Get Well Soon, Gary campaign?
I think you're a twat, firstly. No, it's very nice. I must admit, like when I got tagged in that video last night of you getting Rampy and Fernandez to wish me well and to get well soon, I felt like a kid from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I was expecting John Cena to appear, like telling me that no, you are the real hero.
Yeah,
for battling COVID so valiantly.
Well, you are, and to be honest with you, I mean, like, I know you've struggled with it. Like that high temperature and slight cough is quite irritating. So,
it's debilitating.
Yeah. I'm glad.
That's how I would describe it. Actually, like, I know I'm up to date on my vaccines and stuff, so obviously I'm having a better experience than a lot of people. But it is, my experience with COVID has been, it's really fucking annoying, and that's what it is. It's not, like, for me at least anyway, because of my age range and stuff, like, luckily not debilitating, but just really annoying. Like an annoying little cough and annoying little aches, and like, it's pain in the ass.
Listen to you whine about it is actually fucking more annoying, to be honest with you. So so
does that mean the campaign's over? The thoughts and prayers campaign?
No, it's not. Thoughts and prayers. Jesus. So if you want to donate to the Gary
Stop Whining Fund,
the Gary Cough Medicine account fundraiser, please help out where you can. So obviously we had talked before the Edmonton game about this being uber important, and once again we were disgracefully slow out of the gate. So what did you think of that first half performance, and where did it go wrong again? It was
just to touch on the first point about how we were saying that game was a must win game. Like, I actually think that was a must win game. Like, we've said it quite a lot, but I think that was the last must-win game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have got a lot of luck has got to come our way for us to have another must-win game this season. Because if you look at the table now, there's an upstairs and downstairs, isn't there? There's the top four as it is now, and there's the top and there's the bottom four that we're in. And that gap is looking, what is it, 9 points or 10 points or something? Yeah, and we've played a game more. And
I think we've got a game in hand on Calvary right now, so like,
right,
they're like 10 points ahead of us,
so it could be 7, but
and I think that like they're obviously on a bad run themselves right now, but I definitely felt like, as we kind of talked before, but every time we were playing these must-win games and we weren't winning, it was kind of pushing more and more to the time when it was going to be, it's too late. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that Stephen Hart afterwards had said that, like, we were moving the ball too slow. This is like the third game out of 4 that he said that. Like, he said it against Ottawa, he said it against Valor, and now he said it against Edmonton. How much is that? Like he's the head coach. Like, and I'm not trying to like get into the whole Stephen Hart out thing again, but he is the head coach. So, like, what's he doing to motivate these guys? Like, if you keep having slow starts and you're not moving the ball quickly, like, what are you doing during the week to change that? It's just boggling my mind.
I went to a training session before the season began, and he was really big on it in that training session as well. He kept stopping the activities. So Dorado would like set them up with the activity, and then Hart would like step in and talk to them. And that's the thing he kept stepping in to talk to them about. And he was talking all about like their body shape as they receive the ball to allow the momentum of the ball to continue, like speed of passing and stuff. And he kept getting annoyed about it, that what they weren't doing it. And there's been games this season where we've actually played it really quick and looked quite fast. But yeah, this run we're on at the moment where confidence is obviously really, really low. And like, what's the first thing that goes when you're not feeling confident as a football player? It's your ability to play one touch because you don't trust yourself anymore. And it's just like, it's just a vicious cycle at the moment of we kind of perform badly, which kills our confidence more, which then means we perform badly again. And we just seem to be in the washing machine a little bit. And we need any sort of win now just to kind of stop the cycle and just start building some sort of momentum again. Like, it's going to take a bit of a miracle for us to make the playoffs now, but it'd be nice if the second half of the season we can just put some wins together and start to, like, especially at home, like start to put some performances in at home, because it's getting to the point now where, like, I don't think any of the players would admit this, but do you think all of them are really looking forward to Monday and playing at home again? Because they've had so many bad experiences at home lately. That does play on your mind. So you just need it to be a positive place again where positive things happen. And hopefully something can change on Monday to help with that, because Saturday was really not great again. I've got a few ideas why. My main thing is, and this will kind of fold into what we talk about when we hopefully move on to talking about Fumpa Mwandwe. And it's this idea that our attackers all kind of do the same thing, and they all want to take the ball in certain areas and do similar things with it. So they're all kind of players who like the pass to their feet, and they like to like feel the ball a lot, don't they? Like take a few touches, like look up, see what's on, maybe jink past the player, like try and look for a little 1-2. And they're all trying to do that. And it's just a lot of the same. Like I feel like an attack that works, you need, all right, say in an attacking phase, you've got 5 players attacking, you've got the 3 forwards, you've got probably the right back Fernandez, and you've got one of the 8 joining as well. So say you've got 5 attackers in attacking phases. If you look at profile of player, we have 5 kind of creators, don't we? Like Daniels is a creator, Marshall is a creator. So we have 5 creators. Arguably Salt is the only kind of finisher out of those 5.
Yeah.
And we need way more of a balance. You need at least 2 finishers and 3 creators. You can't just have 5 creators or 4 creators, because it's really obvious what you're going to do. They're all looking to make the final pass, not score. So like in the first half especially, that was so evident. It was just, and they were all dropping really deep because they wanted to get the ball. So when they did that, it allowed Edmonton to squeeze us even more. So there was just no space in the middle of the park. And yeah, like Fumpa coming on was just such a breath of fresh air. But I'm sure we'll get to that.
I think one of the things that we can, I feel is that like we're predictable would be a word I would describe us as now. Like it's just, we kind of talked about us having the system and we're kind of set up, whatever. But like because we're just constantly doing the same things, it's like it's easier for rival coaches to kind of to play against us. And I feel like he probably just watched the Forge games. That's pretty much how they played. They just got in their faces, and we kind of had the ball a little bit at the back. But as soon as we got anywhere near their box again, it was dire. I think we had one chance that I can probably think of, like the Marshall chance, you had to. It was a half chance. It wasn't even anything major at that. But
I think it was a cross as well, to be honest.
And I feel like just with the people around me, like the patio, like where I stand, it's kind of a weird spot because you've got a group of people who will stand at the Horden to watch the game, who are into watching the actual game, and then you got people kind of fluting around in the back who are just like there for the day. And I don't respect everybody. Like everybody pays their ticket, you can do whatever you want to, but it was like that kind of, after 10 minutes you could sense that people were like, here we go again. And it was that kind of like, oh fuck, like we're in for one of those afternoons. And it's like it's becoming more and more and the normal for us that we're going to have one of those afternoons. And like, I mean, like Edmonton aren't great. Like they have a couple of decent players, like we've talked about like Warcheski before, and Mateo, like I mean, like who's probably like is probably something that we need ourselves, and we've kind of given him away. Like, and I thought he was excellent, but that's kind of going to lead me into what our next point was, just the penalty. So quite a few people thought that the penalty that Gander gave away like wasn't actually a penalty, and like he didn't touch him or whatever like that. But watching it back, he's done that thing where you kind of come across somebody as they're running and you kind of clip their back leg and then it kind of clicks their front. So I think it was a penalty. What was your view of it?
Yeah, it was a penalty. I think it sounds like two contradictory points, but I think at the same time, so I think Gander did not foul him, but I also think it's a penalty.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Oh, no,
because
totally makes sense.
Like he didn't try to foul him; he just happened to.
It was the way he kind of moved his body across, because in fairness, he just given the ball away. So like, I mean, it was his fault in that like he gave the ball away in a very dangerous area. So I think that he was just trying to come around to block off the cross. And when he did that, he just like kind of clipped it. And it wasn't, as you said, like it wasn't an intentional foul, but it was a foul nonetheless. And I must say, the penalty itself was so well taken. Like he was getting like a lot of shit from the people behind the goal there, like kind of trying to put him off, and he fucking shut us up, to be honest. So yeah.
He's a good player, isn't he? Is it Wachewski? Is that
I think that's how you say it. But yeah, like he's really good. I think for a big lad, like I mean, he's really good with his feet, and he's like,
say, oh yes,
I had to.
Yeah,
I know, but he really is though. Like him, and that's one thing I'd say about Ongaro as well, because all you're expecting to be is just like a target man, and like they're actually like he actually creates quite a lot of chances for him, because he likes to play center forward, but he also likes to drop back and get the ball and kind of create stuff too. So he's basically the type of player that York need right now, and like he's in a different city.
Oh yeah. So he belongs to York, yeah.
So he was one that kind of, there was like a flurry of loans that went out. Like a man Shamit Chong went to Forge and stuff like that, and I think Gonzalez is actually a York player too, but and then they loaned him back. But that was an odd one. Like I think he's probably like one of the better forwards in the league, to be perfectly honest. But and he was giving us a lot of trouble, but it was just the same again. I mean, like we just didn't really do anything. I can't really think of any kind of clear cut chance we had in that first half. And I did want to ask you your opinion. Like, so you know, we actually talked about like where's Mo Omar, and like the sun coming over the horizon. He appeared magically in the Wanderers team sheet and then played 45 minutes. But do you think it was fair? Like, I mean, he hasn't played in a long time, and you're just like, we're sticking him on for 45 minutes, and then he gets hooked. I don't think he was that bad to warrant him being hooked at halftime. What did you think of his performance?
That's one of those things. Like, I'd like to know more about the situation, because we don't know if he was hooked because it was a bad performance, or he was hooked because Stephen Hart and the coaching team were like, you haven't played for a while. I reckon you've got about 45 minutes in your legs. Just get to halftime and then we'll replace you. It could have been that as well. Like, without knowing that context, it's difficult to like go in 2-footed on either side. Performance wise, it was a bit of a mixed bag. Like, he had a few nice touches, but I just thought, like, from a speed of thought perspective, like, he seemed way off it, which is understandable because he hasn't played a lot of football this year. He's still acclimatizing to a professional game, so that's completely understandable. But you just, like, I watched as much of him as I could from his NCAA career when he signed, and he had all the time in the world on the ball at that level. And there was a difference from like where he was playing as well. He was basically doing for his college team what Rampy does for us, like playing as a lone six. So his role as an 8 for us was a lot different. And I think kind of he suffered a bit because we're used to seeing Jeremy there, who's all action, technically one of the best players in the league. Like, physically, he can put himself about, very robust, who demands a lot of the ball and gets a lot of the ball. So when you have a massive personality like Jeremy removed from that part of the pitch, and you plug in this guy who's up to now played about 100 minutes of professional football in his life, who's physically not too robust, who's coming back from injuries, like, you really notice what you're missing. And I think that kind of probably unfairly highlighted some of Omar's flaws on Saturday. I think as a player, he likes to have the game in front of him. Like, he likes to kind of pick the ball up and have a picture, look up and have a picture, have a few different passes, like, and control the pace of the game that way. And I think when you stick him as an 8, you're normally receiving the ball with your back to the touchline. You kind of, you're playing in really, really small spaces, which I'm not sure he's, again, speed of thought. I don't think that's quick enough yet to really thrive in that sort of role. So yeah, it wasn't a great day for him, but at the same time, like, it wasn't terrible. Like, there were some nice things he did, and hopefully that's 45 minutes of football in his legs. He'll have 45 minutes of tape to learn from, and he can kick on from there. But I think we talked about this last week. I think we have to accept this is a development season for him now.
Yep.
And a development season means you have some off days as well.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think he did have some moments that you can kind of see there's something there. Like, you know, he is a bit of a player, but like, you know, when you're coming in cold after 2 months or with that to like an environment that you're not really used to, it's obviously going to affect you, and it could be an injury. Yeah, I just kind of felt for him that, you know, like I think it's the second game he's played where he got hooked at halftime, and I just feel like it's probably going to kick in his confidence. I like, to me, like, you know, if you're unsure of his fitness and you're coming back, like, put him on like for 10 minutes towards the end, or so, you know what I mean? Like, change the force. Like, don't just stick him on for 45 minutes and hope something happens. You know what I mean? That's just me anyway, but what do I know? So came into the second half then. We brought Ryan Robinson on for Omar, kind of still the same, kind of just plugging along. We were kind of, we had a couple of like moments, and then they had some good chances too, and then the man the moment arrived. And what difference do you think that he made to us when he came on?
Massive difference. I mean, just a quick word on Robinson first. Like, I thought he kind of got the ball rolling when he came on. Like, I thought Robinson was really, really positive when he came on. Like, he seemed very brave. He wanted to get the ball a lot. He was starting to stretch their defenders as well. So he made like an initial difference. But yeah, when Fumpa come on, it was like football's a simple game. I think, like, we're armchair football fans, aren't we? Yeah, we've been able to see, and we've talked about this at length for at least a month now, that we need someone fast who can run in behind. Like, it's been that obvious, even we've seen it. So I'm sure the club have as well, and they've addressed that by bringing Fumpa in, and just instantly, like, you just felt like a famished man in the desert who'd been handed a glass of water. Like, it was like, oh shit, like this is exactly what we need. Like, it's so obvious. Once you see it with your own eyes, it's so obvious that that's what we've been missing. Like, so as soon as he comes on, like, the chance he has initially, like the quick feet in the area, considering he's come on cold, like he's probably not warmed up, like the quickness of his feet to like kind of create that half chance was really, really good. And then, like, some of the runs he was making over the top, like he almost looked like an NFL wide receiver, like, you know, the routes that they run.
Yeah.
Like, you see him like starting from the left, running diagonally inwards, and then like sometimes he was running diagonally inwards all the way over to the right side to then make his forward run. It was like some really interesting, weird runs he was making, and the Edmonton defenders just shit themselves. Yeah. Like, you literally see them, like, after 5 minutes of them dealing with him, looking at each other and going, okay, we need to like stand 5 yards back now. Like, we need to, like, we've squeezed Wanderers right up. We need to retreat by 5 yards, because suddenly they've got someone who, all of that green space behind us, he is absolutely going to exploit that green space. And they just shit themselves. And it changed the game, because as soon as they then step 5 yards back, you've got our creative players like Daniels suddenly have all of this space between the lines so they can operate in and do what they're supposed to do in. So it's not only Fumpa like benefiting the team from an individual perspective, it's enabling the creative players around him to like exploit the spaces that he leaves. So I was just so excited. Like, when I was like, up until he came on, I was actually thinking about this podcast, thinking, fucking hell, this is going to be just so miserable, because we've been dire, like we've been really, really bad. And then he came on and just like the clouds part, the blue skies there, and you're like, yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, we actually look like a team again. We look like something beyond this kind of like boring, sludgy, congested mess. And we actually look like a team again who have multiple threats. And suddenly these attackers who were like all going, oh, he's been shit for weeks, suddenly they look like players again, because they've actually got the spaces to operate in. So yeah, that was an incredibly positive debut, I thought.
Yeah, I loved every second of it. As you said, like from the get go, it just lifted everybody because we were all expecting him to do something, you know what I mean? But then when he did like the little jinky thing in the box there, like it was just phenomenal. Like it didn't matter he didn't score. It was like just the fact that he was able to do that. It just kind of everybody was just like, finally we've got something that we can kind of like latch our hopes onto. And I know it's an awful lot. We talked about this, like the pressure of it all, but I mean, like he just seems to not give a fuck, and he's he's all for it. But it's like it was literally you're right though, because as soon as he got the ball, like his pace was terrifying him, and like the penalty was like a classic example of that. Like they just panicked and they just didn't know what to do with him, because it's like suddenly they've gone from having an easy day at the office of just like sitting, just standing there, and the Wanderers just standing in front of them, like to suddenly having somebody who's actually gonna like move them around and actually make them think about what they're trying to do. And yeah, I just kind of wish that like once we got the goal, we didn't seem to build on it though. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to be like a negative Nelly, because it was fantastic, like what he did, but we didn't really create, like we didn't seem to take that advantage and run with it. And then like I think we only had one more chance out there where Shala like kind of had the header like towards the end when Stephen Hart did his usual hope and pray and put Peter up there as our striker. But it was just when we were walking away like from the game, it was kind of nice to have something positive to talk about, and his name was buzzing everywhere. And the fact he won the man of the match and was named in the team of the week on a 20-minute display kind of says it all, I guess, about the Wanderers.
I think that him getting in the team of the week was probably the league office overstating it a bit, but yeah. it was really good, and we needed something positive. Like I just, this podcast right now, if we'd have lost that game 1-0 and he wasn't at the club, I can't imagine the level of vitriol that would be here right now. I mean, there's enough kind of simmering bad feeling around the club, and I do think it's only simmering. Like, I think people who are very negative obviously tend to be quite vocal as well, like not just in football, like in all walks of life. Like, so you do see more of that than positivity, but it's there. You can't ignore it. Like, that is a reality of supporting this team at the moment. Is there's a lot of negative talk around the club, and if we'd have lost that game, and if we didn't have that kind of bright star to hang stuff on in Fumpa, there would be some really angry discourse right now. So I think a lot of the people at the club are probably very thankful to him right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed, like we've talked about, like that feeling that's been going around, that like there's so much stuff that was kind of stated in the off season that's been kind of like, and now like when the club say they're going to announce something or they're going to do something, it's immediately jumped on when that doesn't happen. Like this week, we're supposed to have a replacement for Mateo Restrepo, and like I talked to Derek. Yeah, like it's in the if you read the press release, it says that next week they're going to announce a Canadian defender to replace them.
I missed all that.
Yeah, so everybody was like kind of Wanderers Wednesday, blah 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 blah. So I bumped into Derek last night. I just kind of mentioned to him, and he's just like, like paperwork and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of just been delayed. So it's that thing where the club say that this is going to happen, and people are expecting stuff, and then it doesn't happen. It's just like, oh fuck's sake, that's kind of where we're at right now. And it's one of those things. If stuff was going well on the pitch, I don't think people would care about that stuff. That's the thing. That's what I mean. Like, it's just that thing that because things aren't sitting right, like people are just like picking on every little thing to like be pissed off, and the players must be feeling it. Like, I mean, and I think that's probably what's affecting, like what's like we're expecting them to lose, I feel, almost now when they're playing, and that just rubs on. Like, you come on and it's like just as I said to you, after that first 10 minutes, like the people around me were just like, oh fuck, here we go again. You know what I mean? So I think having Fumpa just kind of changed that all around, and like there's a more of a positive feeling going into Monday now, so which is kind of nice.
I actually feel quite strongly about that, like fans' responsibilities. Like, I know we're paying customers and stuff, but I think like by being a paying customer, you kind of sign an unofficial clause saying I am there as a supporter to try and like encourage the team. Like, I don't think booing has ever helped a team play better. Like, like when I watch Arsenal, when Arsenal get booed off at half time, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how you think you doing that is going to make the team go into the change room and go, oh, we should really start trying harder. This is like they know, the players know when they're having a bad day. Like booing doesn't help, and I'm guilty of it. Like fucking all game on Saturday, I was just muttering to Shep like, "Oh, we're so fucking shit. Like this has been dreadful." I was doing it, but I don't think I'd ever like overtly make a show of it. And
yeah, like I think true also though, like we've tended not to lay the blame at the players. Maybe like one or two who we expected to be a little bit kind of better and like to maybe it appeared that they weren't making an effort. But we've kind of it's been more towards like management and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, it's their job to pick the players, it's their job to bring the players in, and it's their job to get them out there to win games, and obviously that hasn't been happening. So yeah, anyway, so obviously this was Mateo Restrepo's last game. It was kind of announced on the Thursday that he was hanging up the boots to become a doctor and all that kind of stuff. So what did you think of the reception that he got, the little presentation that they had, and did you see any of the stuff afterwards that took place?
Presentation, I think the club are really good at that sort of thing. I remember when Charlotte went back to school as well, they did a little thing for him like that, and I think they're quite. I mean, we for as much as we criticize the club for on the pitch stuff, like I don't think anyone has ever criticized their off the pitch way of going about their business. They're excellent at that sort of thing, and they're excellent at creating the brand and all of that. So yeah, that was all to be expected. Like always been good at that side of it. I didn't. What happened afterwards? I didn't. It was kind of nice around, to be honest.
Yeah. So like he came down into the corner where the kitchen is, and you know that Viking drum thing that they do, like like I think they do it after the Canada games and all that kind of stuff. So they brought one of the drums down from 108, and he did the whole getting he's got no rhythm, God bless him, but he tried. It was kind of like,
hasn't he? I'd put my money on him being a good dancer.
That's what I was thinking. It was just like the hair, you know, the way he plays on the pitch. But yeah, it was kind of like he was definitely offbeat, but everybody kind of just joined in, and then he came in where the fans are like behind, and he was like signing stuff and all that kind of stuff. And then they had like a big somebody had done a banner saying like paging Dr. Handsome or something like that. It was just really, really nice. And I felt like, you know, we've been like through so much with the team this year. It was still nice that the fans like kind of hung around and kind of gave him that kind of send off, because he has been a really good servant for the club, and I think he's been a very positive light at the club, and like I think he's definitely going to be missed.
Yeah, like sounds like everyone I've ever spoke to at the club like talks really highly of him and says what a lovely guy he is. So yeah, definitely. And like with Morelli being out for the season and him leaving, like the handsomeness level of the club has taken a massive hit, hasn't it? Like that, what a hole that's left.
Yeah. Like Mingers FC. No, so like, but it was kind of a really lovely send off, and then the Wanderers actually released a cool little video today. I don't know if you caught it on Twitter there, where they kind of showing like obviously he was captain, which I thought was a great touch by Stephen Hart, and he gave like a captain speech, and they had to like bleep out like some of the words he was saying, because like, the fucking fans deserve it. I love that stuff, man. That shit like just gets my adrenaline going.
Like any given Sunday, remember that sort of speech. Yeah. Did you see the latest clip from the Arsenal All or Nothing they just released the other day of Arteta giving a speech like that?
Oh, was that when he had written the words on the board or something?
Yeah.
I had to turn it off. I was just like, this is ridiculous. It's like, wait, who does that? Who fucking writes them on the board and start like, you know, like get off the stage here, like Jesus Christ. Yeah,
mate, it was beautiful and moving.
Yeah, I'm sure he cried. But yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that we gave our little tribute to Mateo, because you know it's a huge opportunity for him. He's away to medical school and all that stuff, but he is an incredible person and a great ambassador for the club, and I really hope that we get to see him back watching a game or two. And it's a loss, but you know, good luck to him is what I say.
Yeah, massively. Like that is an incredible career and a noble pursuit. So I'm sure he'll smash it. Like you can just tell when you listen to him talk, he's got his shit together. Like he'll be brilliant.
I can honestly say that like since I moved to Canada, I've moved away from that Irish pettiness because that was back home. Like, hope he fucking fails a medical skills
Oh,
back here
mate,
play next season.
I know. Who the fuck does he think he is? Think he's Mr. Big Shot Doctor,
big headed cunt.
Him and his own shitty doctor mates. I know. Honestly, that's such an instinct for me as well.
Oh God,
like celebrating people's successes is a completely new thing for me.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like I've had like 40 years of people badmouthing Bono, even though he's the biggest thing to ever come out of Ireland. It's like he's like, oh, fuck, what a wanker.
Yeah.
So
you've been here 10 years, yeah?
Yeah, 10 or 11 it is.
Okay, yeah. So I'm like half that. So I'm only halfway down that road of being an incredibly nice person. You're almost fully there now.
Yeah, but I was like, I was probably like twice as bad of a person as you, so we're probably at the same level. So you know, I was a I'm a cantankerous old fuck. So yeah, so moving away from that game. Obviously, we've got York on Monday, and here's hoping that we show up for this one. And there's a lot of people were thinking this is going to be a dreary 0-0 and all that kind of stuff. And I just think having that little injection of a new player and somebody who's willing to kind of push the opposition, it mightn't be that way. So I'm really hoping, because I just can't sit through another fucking boring Halifax York game. They've been awful. Like this, both teams has been fucking dreadful. So I'm just,
which is strange because the last season we had a 3-3, a 3-2 against them, but yeah, this year it's been
fucking dire. So yeah, so last night obviously was the U23 game. I got there 20 minutes late and they're already 1-0 down, and I was talking to the peeps that were there, and they were kind of saying that, like, you know, like this other team are all over us. But to be honest, to me, like that was to be expected. You know, they're playing a team that's played together all season. You know what I mean? Like, and they're a semi-pro team. It's not like it was just a bunch of lads they picked up from the pub and asked them to give them a game. So I thought that was to be expected, and it really showed how well organized they were, and they were like putting us to the cosh. Like, I mean, like, it was 3-0 at halftime, and deservedly so. We were not very good, but then whatever Mazut said to them at halftime definitely worked. In the second half was like probably the most fun I've had at the Wanderers game.
Really?
Like, yeah, it was great. Like there's probably about 15 to 20 was behind the goal, and like when the first goal went in, we were kind of like cheering it and all that kind of stuff. And then the second one went in, and they thought like there was going to be a comeback on here. It really got us all going, and we were all for it. It was there was a 20-minute spell, 25-minute spell when it was all the Wanderers, and then they kind of just shut up shop and changed things around a little bit, and they kind of contained us then. But it was just one of those kind of things, like, you know, like when your team is behind and then like they does that crest, you know, that it's kind of unstoppable sometimes. It just had that vibe about it, and I think everybody's just relieved that after the first half that there was a Wanderers team that was actually showing up and trying to score goals and create stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. I really enjoyed that, and I'd recommend anybody, if you get a chance to. I know that's close to the Monday game, and going to Wanderers game is not cheap. So, but if you get the chance to go along, I'd definitely recommend it. But it was good fun.
Nice one. Yeah, I bet it's fun without all the baggage. Like, you've not got any of the emotional baggage. You've not got any of like that this player's been shit for the past 5 games and I don't like the coach or whatever. Like, you can just enjoy it as it is. And
it was definitely that kind of vibe where like everybody was just relaxed. We were all like, and like up in the stands, like it looked like everybody was like enjoying the game, and everybody like honestly the second half everybody really got into it, because it was like, oh, here we go, this is actually like turning into, because I think at half time everybody had a feeling that we're going to get like annihilated in the second and it's going to end up like being a 7 or 8-0. But like the fair play to the lads that came back into it. Ryan Robinson was probably one of the standout players on the pitch. I thought he was excellent. He played the full 90 and he put everything out there, because like he came over at the end of the game and was like kind of signing some flags and all that kind of jazz, and he signed somebody's jersey and all that kind of stuff, and he looked as the tank was empty. He looked fucked. And you want to see that though. Like, I want to see him like trying his best, and he was like, I was really trying. Like, he was talking to us, and he was like, I was really trying because I wanted to get the minutes into my legs, because I've only been playing like patchy little bits. I think Tabby played the full game or most of it. I thought he was solid, if not spectacular, but I think that's exactly what he needed. You know, just minutes and not making mistakes and just getting on with the game. And I thought I thought Luke Green was really good too. So like a lot of the former Wanderers that played, you could tell that they played at a higher level because they kind of shone a little bit, you know. So it was a good game.
With like Robinson, I think that probably shows where he's at in his development, where he would probably be one of the best League One Ontario or the Quebec League, one of the best players in that league. And that's probably where he is. He's kind of there, which means he's not an automatic starter yet, but he's still young enough where the ceiling's high enough for him to take a few steps up. I'd be interested in seeing who was good on the other team as well, because like I think we have our eye on at least 2 players from the teams we're playing against. And I think if the club were being completely honest, like this is also part scouting mission for those PSLQ teams as well. Like I would be shocked if we don't have one player from each of these teams in our roster next season.
I actually made a note.
Oh, scout.
One actual note.
You'd make a good scout, actually. I can imagine you like on a conference game in a big coat, just like taking in the game and like an old school 90s scout.
Yeah, a big Graham Taylor head on me. There was a guy that played for the other team, Amla. He scored 2 of the goals for them.
How'd you spell his name?
AMLA. So apparently he's had a couple of sessions with the Wanderers. Like he's done a couple of training sessions, and he was also a very like he was definitely a standout. Like he was excellent. Like he took the 2 goals really well, and he caused problems for the Wanderers defense. Like especially in that first half, he was incredible.
Striker.
Yeah. He's a big. He's a tall guy as well, but he's got good feet. His finishing was excellent, and his awareness around them was really good too. So yeah, like I enjoyed watching him. Like what
sort of profile was he? Like back to goal sort of player, or running onto balls? Bit of both.
He's a bit of both actually. I definitely think he could offer us something different, but it's like this is a problem. It's like, and I think this is where it's always going to be an issue for the Wanderers, because they're plucking so many players from the PLSQ and hoping that they come good. Is that you don't know the standard. Like you don't know. Like I mean, like they're playing against he's playing against under 23s here, right? Who are below his level. You know what I mean? So it's kind of very hard. Like so, he might look good in that game, but I'd be interested to see what he'd be like up at as I said, he had a couple of training sessions up at the Wanderers. It'd be kind of interesting to see how he makes out like in that environment. You know what I mean? So it's
like almost like their minimum requirement needs to be they play very well in that game, because that should be their average level, would be very good compared to the under 23s they're playing against. So excuse me.
And that's it. Like I mean, like you know, like being honest with you, like I was having like such a good time. Like as I said, like we're just shooting the shit, and we were kind of like the first half we were chirping their goalkeeper, and then like anytime they made like a play, because like you can hear everything, right? Because it's so empty. It was kind of it was a lot of fun. And when they got a corner, like people were chirping them, and like you could see them like laughing on the posts and stuff like that. So it was good fun. I had a great time.
When I was early teens, I used to have a season ticket behind the goal at Russian and Diamonds, which is my local club. And like you'd have the normal people chirping the goalie like, oh shit, and like yelling stuff. But I always excuse me, I always remember there was this one guy, he had like a really like deep somber voice, and he would just, if the play was at the other end of the pitch and the goalkeeper would hit, because like the pitch was like right on top of the goals, and he would just like in his deep voice just tell the goalkeeper like, I bet all your friends and family are watching this as well. Wouldn't it be really embarrassing, like really, really embarrassing in front of your mum who has invested all her time in raising you and paying money for you to get to training, if you let a goal go between your legs? Like, and he just like all game just softly speak to the goalkeeper, telling him all of this like really like deep psychological stuff, like of how and he was a really intense guy as well, and I was just like, fucking hell. Like,
there's probably goalkeepers in fucking therapy now because of that. Jeez.
I know, honestly, like his voice haunts their dreams. I wonder what became of him.
Well, he's probably still at Russian Diamond games making people feel really bad at themselves. But like, so do you have tickets for the game like next
Yeah,
Wednesday? You do?
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
like
can't wait.
you're gonna be out of
I'll be in
quarantine.
my not. I'll be in, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I'm hoping I can go to the game on Monday. I don't really know what the rules are. Like, I tested positive this Monday, so and I'm feeling much better today. So that'll be
Yeah,
7 days time.
yeah.
Can I go on Monday? Someone reply in the comments below
Yes,
this if I can.
I'm sure there's somebody who will know if it was a yay or an nay for you on Monday.
Yeah.
But yeah, like at least I guess you'll be able to watch the game at home. But yeah, man, I'm probably not going to make the one next Wednesday. I wasn't going to go to this game, and then I was like, well, since how like you pulled a sickie, I suppose I should and show for the podcast. So, but yeah, like it's too
You are
close.
representative.
Yeah, and I probably did a horrible job of doing it. But on the Monday and then the Wednesday, it's just too close together. It's going to be difficult for me to get out for the Monday. So yeah, man. So there's a couple of good standout players. Like I think that they enjoyed it, which is the main thing. Like I saw Luke Green like post something today saying how important it is for this thing to work and stuff like that. So it's a game for these guys that they wouldn't have had a chance to play before. So like I'm really happy that they got out there and at least enjoyed it. We got some good minutes for our players for Monday and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm actually optimistic for Monday, and I think we're going to win.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I actually
What do you think the score's going to be?
I can see it's like I can see it being a 2-0. I think that like York has been so piss poor, worse than us in front of goal right now, and then I don't think they've addressed much of that, and I just think to have that little boost of this new player, like to kind of drag us kicking and screaming. At this stage, like like I saw somebody like had posted about the playoffs are kind of like a pipe dream at this stage. Like like we kind of know like that it's going to be difficult for us to get there, and if we can kind of just get like a couple of like little games, like a run as you said, just kind of boost morale. Maybe get a couple of the young guys like a chance out there, like Robinson, give him like some more game time, and like we might see Tabby, I guess, because like Gander's kind of being hot and cold, and I don't think that's true any fault of his own. You're a young guy coming into a team that's like bereft of confidence, so like it's a difficult situation for everybody. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and we need to bring back our man of the match. So who was your man of the match for the Edmonton game?
Oh man, I'm trying to think of anyone other than Fumpa, but feels a bit too obvious to say him. Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? Like no one else really did much at all. So, can you think of anyone different?
No, I actually thought I thought Restrepo had a pretty decent game. He played really well, and I kind of just to have that circle of the story to say like him, but
no, that's a good point actually. Yeah, because it must have been very emotional.
Yeah, and Fernandez was his usual self. I thought I think it's just difficult for him because teams know he's the outlet, right? And it's they're kind of like doubling up on him, and they just know that the ball's going his way, and I just feel that when he's getting into some really good positions, but we just don't. Our strikers aren't, because we don't really have an out and out striker. I guess that there's nobody there for some of the crosses that he's able to get in, and it's kind of difficult. But I'm actually going to give it to Restrepo. I thought he had a very solid game, and it must have been very difficult for him, like with all those emotions going through his head. Like on the video, I think there was like a little second or two when he just had like a minute to himself just to kind of like soak it all in. And yeah, man, I'd say like we're definitely going to miss him. I think he's a really good person, and he's a very good footballer, and yeah,
very handsome as well.
Yeah, he's way too handsome.
I wouldn't want to be in a picture next to him, to be honest. I know you did, but
I like so I just looked at myself and just went like, what's my wife thinking? What, like, Jesus Christ, she's definitely settled. So yeah, yeah, man, it's been great. Like I know that you're sick, so I appreciate you hanging out and chatting and stuff like that. And like, don't forget
what
about your fundraiser. You're supposed to say a little bit there. Help me get some cough medicine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, help me. help me get the cough medicine I so desperately need to recover from this horrific bout of COVID. All funds are going to Anthony Abbott's pockets.
Yes, how dare you? That money was just resting in my account. All right, man, it's been a blast. Hopefully I get to see you Monday, and we'll get to see a Wanderers win. So yeah, Gareth, take care, man.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Everybody.
Vote, please. Right vote, please. Time to drink on vote. Get out. Out to vote.